So we'll start to look at the meaning of the Thaniyans. So all the commentary that I will present here is based on Sri Velakudi Krishnan Swamin's Upanyasams on Thirupalliezhuchi that are in Tamil that are available on YouTube. So let's first look at what this word Thirupalliezhuchi means. Thiru means holy. Palli is bed or padukka. Tamil sunna padukka. Ezhuchi, the waking up. So it is verses that are waking up Perumal, that is called Thirupalliezhuchi. Now, this waking up of Perumal is one of the services or one of the kainkariams that we do to Perumal. The others being, as part of the puja, we wash his feet, wash his hand, we give him bhog, food, we put him to sleep. So these are all the different kainkariams that we can do. And the first one is the waking up of Perumal. Now, Perumal's sleep is not like our sleep. It's not like our bodily sleep. Actually, if you look at it, even us as Jivatmas, when we go to Vaikuntham, we leave this mortal body, but we take on a divine body there. And in that divine body, there is no sleep. So there is no hunger, there's no thirst, there's no sleep, there's no pain, right? So even if the Jivatma is like that in Vaikuntham, what to say of Perumal, right? So Perumal, there's no concept of sleep for Perumal. But what is meant here is that Perumal, especially Ranganatha, is lying down with his eyes closed and he's thinking on how to save the whole world, called Jagat Rakshana Chinta. So he's thinking of how do I save the world and how do I save the Jivatmas and bring them back to him. So the Thirupalliezhuchi, we are requesting Sri Ranganatha to open his eyes so that he can grace and bless us. Now, what is a Thaniyan? Thaniyan is an invocation verse that praises an Azhwar or Acharya. Thaniyans to Divya Prabandham Pasurams praise the Azhwar who wrote those Pasurams, as well as they praise those specific group of Pasurams. For example, there are Thaniyans before Thirupave that praise Andal and the Thirupave verses. There are Thaniyans to Periyalvar before the Thirupallandu verses. So there are Thaniyans in each section of the Divya Prabandham. And for Thirupalliezhuchi, there are two Thaniyans. One is written in Sanskrit by Thirumalai Andan, and the other is in Tamil by Thiruvaranga Perumal Arayar. Both of these persons were great acharyas. They were direct disciples of a great acharya in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam called Alavandar. And Thirumalai Andan was Alavandar's son as well. And both these acharyas were also taught Sri Ramanuja on various aspects of the Sampradayam. So now let us start to look at the meaning of the Thaniyans. The first one is in Sanskritam by Thirumalai Andan. Tvameva matva vasudeva rangeshayam rajavadarhaniyam prapodhakim yokrita suptimalam bhaktan grirenum bhagavan tamide. I glorify Thandaradipodi Azhwar, who possesses auspicious qualities such as knowledge, devotion, etc., and who gave us the garland of verses to wake up Sri Ranganatha, who is lying on the serpent bed and who is worshipable like a king. And the Alvar considered Sri Ranganatha as none other than Paravasudevan of Sri Vaikuntham. Now this is the meaning. Now let's look at the word by word meaning. Bhaktan Grirenum Bhagavan Tamide. Ide, I glorify Bhagavantam, the one who possesses all the auspicious qualities such as Jnanam, Bhakti, Vairagyam, etc. And who is that? That is Bhaktan Grirenu. The word Bhaktan Grirenu is actually refers to Thondaradipodi Azhwar, and it's a word by word translation of the Tamil word Thondaradipodi, right? We saw last time that Thondaradipodi means the dust on the feet of the devotee or the Thondar of the Lord. So if you take this word Bhaktan Grirenu, if you break down that word into three parts, bhakta, devotee. Angri in Sanskrit means feet, and Renu is dust. So, Thondaradipodi in Sanskritam becomes Bhakta Angri Renu. Put together, it's Bhaktan Grirenu. So, that is referring to Thondaradipodi Azhwar here. Now, this Azhwar had great jnanam because he realized that not only is Perumal Deivam, but also the Bhagavatas, the devotees of Perumal, are also Deivam. Bhagavantam, getting the quality of jnanam or knowledge. So by getting this, what is the result of getting that knowledge? He became Bhakta Grirenu. That is, he realizing that we are the dust at the feet of the devotees of the Lord. This realization is the true indication that we have got the proper jnanam or knowledge. See, we might be a Thondar or servant of the Lord, but even then, we might have ego, thinking that after all, I'm a servant of the most powerful being. But when you say, I'm a servant of the Lord, then the ego does not raise its head at all. You have to be very humble to say that I am nothing but the dust on the feet of the devotee of the Lord. So I'll just give you one small example here. Say there's a famous person. Let's just say it's Rajinikanth, right? Famous actor, very powerful person. Somebody who's a servant in the house of Rajinikanth, he might say, I'm a servant of Rajinikanth, but he still has a little bit of pride and ego saying, I'm a servant of such a big person. And even if he goes outside and tells somebody, I'm a servant, Rajinikanth, so, oh, Rajinikanth vida, oh, abdin Allah nanipa illaya. But if that person were to say, I'm the servant of Rajinikanth, then he really, really has to be very, very humble to even come to that state and to say that, right? So that is why this Azhwar is so great, because his jnanam is so great that he said, I am Thondaradipodi, right? I am the dust at the feet of the Lord's devotee. And it is also said that Perumal's grace comes very easily to those who are Thondars of Thondars, that servants of his servants. So, what did this Thondaradipodi Azhwar do? Prabodhakim yokrita sukti malam. Yokrita, yaha, one, akrita, who did or sang. So, the Azhwar who gave sukti malam, the garland of verses. Tamilla sonna, Pasurattal Akapatta Malai, the garland of verses he gave. Prabodhakim, these verses which will wake the Lord up. Now, the word Prabodhakim makes it very specific that we are talking about Thirupalliezhuchi here. Because there are a lot of other Azhwars who have composed Pamalais. For example, Andal's Pamalai is Thirupavai. And even Thondaradipodi Azhwar composed another Pamalai called Thirumalai. But here the word Prabodhakim is used, which indicates that it is the Thirupalliezhuchi they're talking about here. So this Prabodhakim Yokrita Sukti Malam, Tamilla sonna, Thirupalliezhuchi Padina Pamalai. With this Pamalai, who did the Azhwar wake up? Rangeshayam, that Ranganatha who is reclining on the serpent, Adisesham, Rangeshayam, Rajavadar Haniyam, that same Ranganatha who is worshipable like a king. Rajavat, like a king, Arhaniyam, worshipable. Now, of course, it is true he's worshipped as a king. After all, is he not Rangaraja of Srirangam? And if you remember the story, Sri Ranganatha was worshipped by all the kings in Sri Rama's ancestry, starting from Ikshwaku to all the way to Chakravarti Dasharatha to Chakravarti Tirumagan, Sri Rama at Ayodhya. We saw the story last time and how Ranganatha, the Vigraham, came from Vaikuntham to Satyalogam, where he was worshipped by Brahma, and then Ikshwaku brought that Murti down to Ayodhya, and then all the kings in that lineage, including Rama, worshipped Sri Ranganatha. So, the one who is worshipped by kings, does he not become king of kings? So, he is Raja Vadarhaniyam, one who is to be worshipped as a king. Tameva matva paravasudevam. Tameva Paravasudevam, considering that Sri Ranganatha is that same Paravasudevam of Vaikuntham. Now the Lord in Vaikuntham is called Paravasudevan. Thondaradipodi Azhwar considered that it was the Paravasudevan in Vaikuntham who has come here as Sri Ranganatha to grace us and bless us. So there are two ways to look at it. One is that such a powerful yet inaccessible being as such as Paravasudevan, after all, not all of us can go to Vaikuntham and see Paravasudevam, he has come as Sri Ranganatha here and is now easily accessible to all of us. The second way to look at it is, oh, the Sri Ranganatha who is with us here and who is mesmerizing us with his beauty, Pachaima Malepolmeni Pavalavai Kamalachengan, that Sri Ranganatha, he is Paravasudevam himself. Now, usually when we say the word Bhagavan, it implies that that person or that being has to have 6 qualities: Jnana, Bala, Aishwarya, Virya, Shakti and Tejas. Paravasudevan has those 6 qualities, and so does Sri Ranganatha, who is none other than Paravasudevan. That is why Thondaradipodi Azhwar said in the Tirumala Pasuram that we learned, Ichuvai tavira yan poi indiralogam alum achuvai perinum vendeen. Paravasudevan, with all those 6 qualities, is here as Ranganatha. I will enjoy him here. What need is there for me to go to Vaikuntham? So there are also a lot of comparisons you can say. There's Vaikuntham. Srirangam is called Bhuloka Vaikuntham. It is Vaikuntham on this earth. In Vaikuntham, it's Paravasudevan. That same Paravasudevan has come as Sri Ranganatha in Srirangam. In front of Vaikuntham flows the river Viraja. Similarly, Kaveri flows in front of Srirangam. Now, this is the meaning of this first Thaniyan that's written in Sanskritam. Now, let us look at the second Thaniyan, which is written in Tamil by Thiruvaranga Perumal Arayar. Mandamgudi enbar mamaraiyor manniyashir Thondaradipodi Thonnagaram Vandu Tinarthavayal Thannarangath Thammanai Palli Unarthum Biran Uditta Oor. Elders who are well versed in the Vedas say that Mandamgudi is the glorious birthplace of Azhwar, whose name is Thondaradipodi, who woke up Sri Ranganatha, who is reclining in Srirangam, which is surrounded by beautiful fertile fields where many beetles live closely to each other. Let's look at the word by word meaning. Mandamgudi enbar Thonnagaram. Mandamgudi is of course the birthplace. Thirumandangudi is where Thondaradipodi Azhwar was born. Thonnagaram, it is a very ancient town. Mandamgudi enbar mamaraiyor manniyashir. This Mandamgudi is said to be mamaraiyor by those well versed in the Vedas. Tamila Vedathukku marainva. So mamaraiyor, those who know the 4 Vedas very well. Manniyashir, they say that Thirumandangudi is glorious. Why is it glorious? Thondaradipodi Biran Uditta Oor. That is Thondaradipodi Azhwar Uditta Oor, the place where he was born. Now, Thondaradipodi Azhwar was born in Margari Masam, Kettai Nakshatram, and he is said to be the avataram of the Perumal's Amsa of Vanamala. That is the garland that Perumal wears. It's also called Vanamala Vaijayanti. He is an amsam of that. He is an avataram of that. So all the different Azhwars are different avatarams of different parts of Perumal. And Thondaradipodi Azhwar is the avataram of the Vaijayanti Vanamala. Now, what did this Azhwar do? Now, when we say Shir, that word means glorious. It applies to Thirumandangudi as well as to Thondaradipodi. So what is so great that Thondaradipodi is glorified? For Palli Unarthum, he composed the garland of verses to wake him up. Who is that him? Thannarangath Thammanai, that Lord of Srirangam, Arangath Thammanai, the Lord of that Srirangam. And the Srirangam is such a beautiful face. Now it's being described as Srirangam, Arangam, that is surrounded by fertile fields where many beetles live closely to each other. Vandu Tinartha Vayal. Now, what this means is, Vandu Tinartha means இந்த வண்டுகள் எல்லாம் கூட்டம் கூட்டமாக வந்து எல்லாம் இடிச்சுண்டு அப்படியே வந்து எல்லாம் ஒன்றா இருக்கான். அது ஏன் அப்படி ஒன்றா இருக்குன்னா, ஸ்ரீரங்கத்தில் காவேரி ஓடுறது. அந்த காவேரி தண்ணி ஓடுறதில்ல, அதை சுற்றி நிறைய தோட்டங்கள் இருக்குது. அந்த தோட்டங்களில் நிறைய பூச்செடிகள் இருக்குது. அந்த அந்த ஒவ்வொரு பூச்செடியிலையும் அவ்வளோ பெரிய பெரிய பூ, மாமலர். அந்த பெரிய பெரிய பூவில் இந்த வண்டுகள்லாம் வந்து எல்லாம் வந்து அது உள்ளே வந்து படுத்துக்கிறதான், அப்படியே இடிச்சுண்டு அப்படியே வந்து படுத்துக்கிறதான். வண்டு திணர்த்த, அதுக்கு தான் பேர். வந்து அங்கே படுத்துக்கிறதான். ஏன் படுத்துக்கிறதுனா, அந்த மலரில் இருக்கிற மது, நெக்டர், அதுக்கோசரம் வந்து அவ்வளோ வண்டுகளும் அங்கே வந்து படுத்துக்குதான். அதுக்கு தான் இன்றைக்கி பார்த்தோம் பாசுரத்தில், மதுவிரிந்தொழுகின மாமலர். மாமலர் ஒரு பெரிய மலர், மதுவிரிந்த ஒழுகின மாமலர். அதுலேருந்து அவ்வளோ அமுதம் வர்றதுனால இந்த வண்டுகள்லாம் வந்து அங்கே இது பண்ணலாம். ஸோ ஆல் திஸ் கோஸ் டு ஷோ இஸ் தட் த பியூட்டி தட் இஸ் ஸ்ரீரங்கம், because of the Kaveri flowing there, because of the rich greenery, because of all the big flowers, all the wonders, that whole beauty of Srirangam is being described here. Now the same wonder we learnt also in the Thirupalliezhuchi Pasram, if you remember, Vandinam Muralum Sholai. Remember that? So Andamari, now here is this, Srirangam is described as Vandu Tinartha Vayal, Thanaranga Tammane. So this is the Thaniyan, meaning of the Thaniyan in Tamil. And thank you very much for listening. And next week, I will go over the meaning of the first Pasuram that we learned today. Thank you.